Hello, hope you're doing well and welcome to my SMITE 2 Soul Guide. Soul, the radiant goddess of the sun, is a powerhouse in the battleground of the gods. Her fiery abilities and dynamic playstyle make her a versatile pick capable of dealing immense magical damage while keeping enemies on their toes. And today I'll be teaching you absolutely everything you need to know to dominate with Soul, whether you're scorching enemies in the mid lane or melting them as an ADC. Soul thrives on maintaining her heat, delivering rapid basic attacks and utilizing her abilities in devastating combos. In this guide, I'll cover her abilities, combos, role affinity, builds, and some essential tips to elevate your gameplay. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my future SMITE 2 guides. Also check out my Discord server if you have any questions or want to join a friendly, toxic-free SMITE community. Now let's ignite this guide with a look at Soul's abilities. Soul's passive is Unstable Manifestation. This passive revolves around her heat mechanic. Hitting enemies with basic attacks or using abilities generates heat, which increases her strength, intelligence, and attack speed. At maximum heat, her basic attacks deal significant increased damage. However, heat will begin depleting if you don't generate more within 6 seconds, so maintaining heat is key to maximizing her power. Soul's first ability is Radiance. When activated, it creates a pool of flames that heals Soul over time based on her missing health and damages all enemies standing in the area. The size of the pool scales with her heat level, making it an excellent tool for sustain, zoning enemies, and controlling objectives. This ability also generates heat, helping Soul stay aggressive in fights. Soul's second ability, Stellar Burst, empowers Soul's next basic attack, turning it into a projectile that explodes on contact or when it reaches the end of its range, dealing magical damage and slowing all enemies. The projectile then retracts, dealing damage a second time. Stellar Burst is fantastic for wave clear, poking enemies, and setting up combos, while also synergizing with her auto attack heavy playstyle. Next, her third ability, Disapparate, grants Soul movement speed and slow immunity while leaving a fiery trail that damages enemies who follow her. After 3 seconds, Soul becomes incorporeal, meaning she's immune to all crowd control and damage and may even walk through player-made walls, making this ability perfect for repositioning, escaping, or setting up counterattacks. The fiery trail also deters enemies from chasing while creating opportunities for Soul to re-engage. And finally, Soul's ultimate Supernova unleashes 8 devastating strikes of fire at a target location, with each strike dealing magical damage. The first hit knocks enemies back, providing crowd control alongside its immense damage potential. Supernova is excellent for securing kills, disrupting team fights, and turning the tide of a battle. Now that you understand Soul's abilities, let's discuss how to string them together into devastating combos. Soul's abilities and auto attacks synergize beautifully, allowing her to unleash massive damage when used effectively. Remember to weave auto attacks between abilities to maximize your damage output. Let's cover 3 essential combos that showcase Soul's versatility. The first combo is a staple for any Soul player and perfect for finishing off weakened enemies. Begin with an auto attack to build heat, then follow up with Stellar Burst to deal significant damage and slow your target. Immediately weave in another auto attack and unleash Supernova to deliver a devastating burst of damage. Wrap it up with one final auto attack to finish the job. This sequence is especially effective against targets sitting at 50 to 75% health, often catching them off guard with its unexpected lethality. Next, we have Soul's full one-shot combo for completely erasing an enemy from existence. Start with an auto attack, then cast Stellar Burst, and weave in another auto attack. Follow this up with Radiance for extra damage and another auto attack for consistent pressure. Use Supernova to unleash your full burst potential, and finally activate Disapparate to either chase down a fleeing target or reposition safely. This combo uses every tool in Soul's arsenal, creating a devastating chain of damage that few enemies can withstand. Lastly, let's discuss Soul's defensive combo, a powerful sequence for turning the tables on a gank attempt or a dangerous teamfight situation. When pressured by enemies, start with Disapparate to leave behind a fiery trail, punishing anyone who dares to chase you. Immediately turn around and cast Stellar Burst, slowing your pursuers. Follow this with Radiance to create a damaging zone and sustain yourself. Then finish with Supernova to unleash a massive burst of damage. If it's safe, weave auto attacks between abilities to further amplify your damage. This combo creates a deadly gauntlet for enemies to traverse, often forcing them to retreat or pay the price. If you want to see the combos in action, check out my channel where I've posted some Soul gameplay videos that demonstrate these strategies in real matches. And consider following me on Twitch for live gameplay. It's a bit of a different experience from the YouTube videos, leaning heavily on play-by-play commentary. Also a great way to ask questions directly. I hope to see you on my next Twitch stream. Now that you know exactly how to play Soul, let's talk about where you will be playing her. Soul is highly effective in both the ADC and mid lane, where her hybrid scaling and ranged attacks shine. Her ability to deal consistent damage with auto attacks or burst damage with abilities makes her a versatile and powerful pick. In the ADC role, Soul's high attack speed and sustained damage make her a strong late game carry. Her auto attack based playstyle synergizes well with lifesteal and attack speed items, allowing her to dominate in teamfights. In the mid lane, Soul's burst damage and range make her a formidable opponent. Stellar Burst and Supernova enable her to poke enemies, securing kills and maintain control of the lane. In the jungle, Soul is viable but not optimal. While her burst damage and heat mechanic allow her to clear camps easily, her lack of mobility outside of Disapparate makes her vulnerable to invades and ganks. Soul struggles in the solo lane due to her lack of tankiness and sustain, and her abilities are better suited for poking and zoning rather than trading blows with melee bruisers. And finally, Soul is not suited for the support role. She lacks the utility and durability required to peel for her teammates or absorb damage in teamfights, making her an ineffective choice for this position. Now that we have covered Soul's roles, let's discuss how you will build her for success. For an ability-based Soul, focus on intelligence, cooldown reduction, and penetration. Items like Book of Thoth, Doom Orb, Dreamer's Idol provide high magical power. Holonomicon is another excellent choice, enhancing her combos with extra burst damage. For cooldown reduction, Chronos Pendant, Soul Gem, and Gem of Focus are great options. Finally, penetration items like Obsidian Shard, Totem of Death, and Rod of Tahuti will help you deal with tanky enemies. For an auto attack based build, lifesteal, attack speed, penetration, and or critical strike chance are the focus. Start with Bloodforge, Devourer's Gauntlet, or the Reaper for sustain. Add attack speed items like Dagger of Frenzy, Braggy's Harp, or Bracer of the Abyss. After that, you'll want to decide between a Shredder penetration style build or a critical strike chance one. For penetration, items like the Executioner, Dominance, and Kinsblade are advisable. And for critical strike chance, you'll want items like Demon Blade or Deathbringer. However, avoid mixing both penetration and critical strike chance as it may lead to unoptimal damage output. And finally, a third build is a hybrid build that combines intelligence with auto attack stats, offering both burst and sustained damage. Experiment with different item combinations to find what works best for your playstyle and team composition. The sky's the limit. Remember, these items are just suggestions. Variables such as team composition and enemy builds will influence your choice. If you want completed builds, feel free to join the Discord server where I or other community members can help you with your builds or any other questions you may have. And as I mentioned, if you want some non-toxic friends to play SMITE with, our Discord server is a perfect place for you. Now let's wrap up this guide with some tips and tricks. My first tip is to always maintain your heat. Soul's passive is the core of her strength, and staying active in fights will ensure you're always at peak power. The next tip is to use Disapparate strategically. It's not just an escape tool, it's a fiery trail that can zone enemies or create opportunities for counterattacks. Another tip is to position carefully. Soul is squishy, so keep your distance while dishing out damage is key to surviving and dominating in fights. And finally, always remember to weave auto attacks in between ability use. This will maximize your damage output and will oftentimes be the differentiating factor between killing your enemy or watching them escape. And that's it, you've reached the end of my Soul guide. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out my other SMITE 2 guides and subscribe for more content. If you have any questions, join my Discord for tips and a friendly community of SMITE players. And finally, follow me on Twitch if you want to watch me play SMITE live, or ask any questions directly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye!